Hi, friends. Welcome back to the High Vibration Living Podcast. I have a treat for you guys today. Dr. Scott Robinson is in Southern California at the moment. I flew out to Orlando to visit him mid-May because he told me he had somebody coming to his office that I would really like to meet. And that is a gentleman by the name of Ricky Wilbur, who does live blood cell analysis and is also the engineer who created the Pulsar Pro 2 machine, which is one of my favorite frequency machines to be treated on. So Dr. Scott said, you need to come out here. You need to meet this guy. This is fully in line with what you love and what you're passionate about. It's a big part of food and healing. And I took his recommendation. And so I got to do a live blood cell analysis with Ricky, as well as get to play on Dr. Scott's frequency machines and to continue to experience Ricky's machine, the Pulsar 2. But what came up in the live blood cell analysis, I want to share with you guys because I think everyone has experienced going to a doctor and getting blood drawn and expecting to receive really good results and a protocol on how to edit, correct, improve those results and how you're physically feeling. And I know I've never received that in all my life. I started to go and get blood panels done when I was 16 years old, when I was in high school in the 90s. Number one, because I was cold all the time, and I live in Southern California where people usually aren't cold all the time. And so my mom naturally thought something was going on with my thyroid. So I went and got all these blood tests and nothing came up, but I was never given a protocol to figure out how to fix what was going on with me. And that just continued for all my life until I went to culinary school to try to heal myself with food. But still, things come up that's usually emotionally based that changes our physical health despite our healthy routines. So that's a lot of what came up with the live blood cell analysis for me, but really with anybody, is it doesn't just tell you what's going on with your digestive system, your lymphatic system, your organs, your endocrine and your immune system, and then takes it back to emotions, the emotions that you're holding that are causing this. And then you're actually given more guidance than I've received in any other blood tests to improve your health. So I wanted to go into that with Dr. Scott because he introduced this to me, but he himself has gotten the live blood cell analysis and he consistently watches his patients get the live blood cell analysis and then he advises them on how to turn it all around.
Correct. It's nice to all know all these things. That's beautiful, but you have to be able to implement it.
Yes.
And with any therapy, whether it's dietary, which we talked about, or emotional clearing, or any of the frequency machines, you can't do it if you don't know what's causing the issue.
Yeah.
Now, I may have other ways to do that, but this is to me is one of the crispest, cleanest ways to do it. And it comes with a set of all the things right in front of you.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is not a one-time fix. You're going to go back maybe 6 months from now and do it again. This gives you something to measure what you find with 6 months from now. What is it going to look like then? If nothing has changed, you either have done nothing to improve on yourself or you've been working on it and something else is interfering with that change from occurring. We do not go off standard blood tests. I mean, if I took this and put it against a standard blood test, it would not show any of these things.
No, it doesn't, because I've gotten standard blood tests, and the last standard blood test I got was just a year ago, and it got me nothing.
Here, now we're going to break it down a little bit more. On the first sheet that we're looking at, and can we share that it's your profile?
Yeah, this is my profile, which I'm happy to share. If you're watching this episode on YouTube, I'm showing it up on screen so you can get a visual because that'll really help you. In case you're considering wanting to have this experience, sometimes seeing what you're signing up for is really helpful. And I only share this because this is the best blood test I've ever gotten in my life. And so I don't want other people to miss out on it if they're struggling with something with their health and they feel like they've hit a dead end. There are no dead ends. There are just new roads that exist that you haven't found yet.
Correct. Now, this particular way, the same cost that it would take for me as a cash patient to go in and get my regular blood test. This is the same thing.
Yeah.
It would be out of pocket for yourself to get all these things. You get two types of live blood cell analysis. One's dried blood, one's live blood. And then it shows on a screen what's going on with your particular system. It'll come up from 0 to 10 of how severe something is or how relaxed and fixed or comfortable it is.
Yeah.
So yours, it started off with the digestive system and all the things dealing with digestion. And the number one thing that came out was your stomach acid is really low. Well, we put you on betaine hydrochloride and some enzymes to help that. And then we have to regulate, well, how many of these things do we need? The standard is usually, 2 betaines with a meal along with some digestive enzymes. Mm-hmm. And now we'll do our muscle testing and find that maybe in your case, it's so severe at the moment, not just at the moment, that we maybe need to put you on 3 betaine hydrochlorides and 3 digestive enzymes. That will be regulated and we'll check on that. The other one listed here deals with your large intestine. Mm-hmm. Well, what's the difference between small intestine and large intestine? Your small intestine is where it's going to go from the stomach and be absorbed into the body. That's small intestine. Large intestine is where you're going to be dumping the waste products out and then shipping that out of your body so the toxins are being dumped out of your body. It says on this one, your inability to release toxins from your large intestine. Why is that? Parasites, the toxic overload, irritable bowel issues that actually aren't irritable. It could be parasitic, viral, you name it. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's also indicating muscle spasms or cramping that may not be enough magnesium or something else that's deleted from your system that your body is using up at such a large amount that your muscles of your large intestine can't relax this part of your body. Then the third thing, it deals with your TMJ. TMJ also deals with bruxation. Bruxation is what's going to happen in your normal things about going to sleep at nighttime. Bad dreams, fear, emotions. Right now we have the Schumann resonance frequencies are having a lot of people not sleep well. So you're getting frustrated. Now, the normal bruxation is something that has to be done to clear your brain lymphatics. Your brains don't have the same type of lymphatics the rest of your body.
Wow.
It's a closed system. So by bruxating gently at nighttime, your jaws are aligned, everything's in frequency alignment, and that this gentle chewing pattern is going to be aligned and you can dump the toxins.
So the TMJ is reflecting mental overload.
Correct.
Wild.
All right, now.
It always comes back to emotions and how we're feeling and how we're processing information and being overloaded.
And what are the one things that we talked about when we do our sessions? Number 1 is fear. Number 2 is overwhelm or overloaded.
Yeah.
Number 3 is doubting and, of course, forgiveness. But right now, we're just focusing on the overload. Today's modern society is great for some things, but bad for others. And what is that? Just overwhelming amounts of material, negative energy, negative news. Oh, just too many things.
We're seeing too much. Like our eyes are inundated with too much visual stimulation, which is also creating the mental overload.
Correct. Now, if you really, and how many things are we seeing now? Alzheimer's, dementia, and things in people who are younger than me. What's happening? They're not recharging their bodies properly. Mm-hmm. They're not eating correctly for their body type. Mm-hmm. And then even if they can eat properly, they can't eliminate.
Or assimilate.
So in your case, you had an assimilation issue and an elimination issue. And that's what this comes to. Whitney knows that I worked with the Gerson Institute, Holder Clark, and all these things are encompassed. They're great. But if you don't know how to deal with them, you don't know how to work with them, that all this information is just a waste of time.
Yeah.
And in this particular case, working with Ricky, he also builds each person into the system. You get a pendant that has frequencies built into it that you wear at nighttime to help you sleep better, function better, and clear and detoxify. And in your particular case, though, he had something that is not normally seen on the average client. Your emotions showed up so strongly that you can actually read them, and it came out perfectly accurate.
Yes, I would agree. So the pendant that Dr. Scott's referring to is they do all these tests and they're able to figure out the frequencies that are currently missing from your body and because they're missing, your body is out of balance. So you add these frequencies into a pendant that you wear at night every time you sleep to put the frequencies into your body. So then your body can come back into its balance, right? Everyone has a different code for balance, right? So that's the term that, it's not one size fits all.
Correct.
The frequencies that your body needs is different from the frequencies of your children, your husband, your wife, anybody that's in your life. We're all completely different, no matter how much time we spend with one another. Because I think a lot of people think, well, aren't our frequencies supposed to match? No, you're supposed to carry your own unique frequency. And so this helps you figure out what's missing and puts it back into balance. And the other thing that Dr. Scott mentioned were the emotions that this test figures out. So, for instance, one of the things that has been a challenge for me is my lymphatic system, causing me a lot of inflammation. And I can see, especially in my arms and my hands, that's overworked for me as a chef. I can see my body holding on to the fluid and being inflamed where it shouldn't be. And so what came up in this test is that there's 3 parts of my lymphatic system that are overwhelmed right now. Number 1 is the thoracic, then the subclavian, and then the axillary. So then you look at the emotions that are connected to that. So the subclavian vein drains the lymphatic parts of the upper and inner arms, which is exactly the area that I've been trying to fix and heal since I became a chef. And that's the ability to embrace change, grief, sadness, fear, sorrow, heavy burdens, pulsing resistant, and pushing past one's reserve. That is everything that is my problem.
Basically, she got burnt out on all these things that were frustrating her for all these years. She knew these things, but she wasn't able to release it. Of course, that's what I work with. And the thing is, those same things were showing up with me when I'm testing you, just doing muscle testing. And it's actually triggering an electromagnetic field resonance, and it's showing up in her body. So much so that that little tool that he uses can actually prove what I've already tested for.
Yes. And so that's what's really neat is this machine and these tests prove what the spiritual practitioner that might be working with you, the chiropractor that might be working with you, anyone that's in more of an alternative field that might be working with you and picking up on something. If you need actual proof, this scientific technique of doing the live blood cell analysis will give you confirmation.
Now, you have to understand this is not available in the normal common sense of the way. Sometimes some states will allow it, some states won't. It is known to be a little different, so you have to be aware of that. This is not your normal blood test. You'll actually see a photograph, what your blood looks like under a high definition microscope, without having to do really high definition into the molecular level. You won't be able to see viruses. Viruses are way too small to be seen, but you can see the toxic rings left behind by them. You can see how the blood will begin to coagulate in such a way, it's called rouleau. And that means that your blood, in order to oxygenate its other tissues and itself, are clumped together. It looks like
I can't handle.
It's like a roll of coins stuck together. French word, rouleau. And that's what it means, stacked coins. That means you're not able to both bring in oxygen to clear you out and clean you up, and you're not able to dump the toxins out of the system.
Yeah.
When an area of rouleau goes into your blood, it can get caught into joints, into any area that is compromised or tight, an area of damaged or scar tissue. And so you'll see the symptoms and the symptom picture increase in those areas of trapped emotions and physical scar tissues or whatever it's showing up in. In your particular case with the subclavian and all these other things, it is the key. Well, I go into the astrological or the biochemical analysis of statistics and probability of what you need for your body type. This one, you don't need to really know the body type, but it's proving your body type. We know it deals with grief and it deals with your upper body and arms. That's your body type.
Yeah, and going past my reserve. So
You're
pushing
running
myself.
on empty.
I'm running on empty, which I've already told you for the past few months, I'm running on empty. This just proves if and I think for a lot of people that I guess you would consider me type A, or just someone that has a clear vision and they want to execute it. And I'm willing to push past my exhaustion in order to try to support other people and execute my goals and dreams. Even though I know I'm burnt out, this forces me to see, yes,
Stop.
your body is burnt out. It's not just in your head. Every cell in you is saying, we are burnt out. Slow down.
Right. And in this case, stop, because you're going to go the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Now, your body runs like an athlete. You are an athlete. You've been an athlete. And so a lot of these things that we would see here are athletes really pushing themselves. But you have no way of recovering. You have no way of coming back. That's why we teach energy medicine, frequency medicine, whether it's meditation or Einstein and the things that we work with. But you always have to come back to dietary issues, the food you eat, and how you eat it. And then how do you clear those emotions?
So that's what I was going to ask next, because the things that came up that are affecting my lymphatic system, I know are affecting tons of people's lymphatic systems. That's why lymphatic massage, the vibration plates that people are using to move the lymphatic fluid, this is extremely popular right now. People are spending a lot of money buying devices to move and drain their lymphatic system. So in this case, my issue is the drainage of the lymphatic fluid in my upper and inner arms, which is related to my inability to embrace change, grief, sadness, fear, sorrow, and overworking myself. What is the protocol besides doing lymphatic massage to clear this up? Because I know I'm not alone, and everyone else that has this issue is wondering, what the hell am I supposed to do too? Because I can only spend so much money on a massage.
Right. And it's not just massage. The massage is an integral part. It's about 20-25%, but it needs to be done physically.
Yeah.
In this case, you have blocked emotions, what we were working on.
Yeah.
And these blocked emotions not only dealt with our current reality,
Yeah.
they dealt with other things.
Past lives.
Correct. And as a result, you need to know that if you're feeling it, it's been there for a while. Not only now, a long time. And these are what we call burdens, and we don't want to carry them anymore.
No.
You've come to that conclusion. The people who come to the conclusion, I don't want this anymore, I don't accept this anymore, are at the very beginning stages of saying, okay, I'm going to heal.
Okay.
Now, from the perspective, I'm not just the doctor, I've also been the patient. And this was what makes the difference for me and my clients, members, because it's one thing to say, hey, do this. It's another thing when you do this planned program and it's not working for you. And now, as the doctor, having been the patient, my objective is to learn from my mistakes and then implement them for you, so you don't have to struggle or suffer.
Yes.
Yeah, you may have to struggle, but the suffering ends. So I'm going to show you these shortcuts. Number one is the pennant.
Okay.
That pennant is just the electromagnetic frequencies of vibration, the frequencies on a chip that your body needs because they're missing. Second, how do we deal with the digestion? So we're talking about the nutritional issues, the lacking that you don't have enough betaine hydrochloride, or you don't have enough enzymes in the large intestinal tract to help clean that up and eat that out. Why? Because otherwise parasites get in there. They'll do the eating of all the garbage that you can't break down.
Okay.
And I've seen you when you started to heal.
I know.
And then you had an emotional.
It was so nice.
And it was a meltdown. And then it completely changed her biome in her body.
So fast too. Like when my emotions changed and I got really sad, my physical health deteriorated. And maybe this is just me, because I've seen this happen to me multiple times. For me, it's when it takes 60 days. 60 days of holding on to a heavy emotion and the whole body breaks down.
That's why we do the things that we do to erase the emotions that don't serve us. But Now we're also going to encompass the verbal frequencies, the balancing by numbers, as well as the machines that we use in the office, or we take them for house calls. The biggest thing is once you break down the things that don't serve you, you got to get rid of the things that are now left over.
Yeah.
The garbage man in you wasn't working well.
It's not working.
Once you had to finally come to the conclusion, I don't accept this anymore.
Yeah.
Number two, we began working on clearing those emotions. And it's actually a very simple process. People will not believe because, oh, I've been to a shrink for years and you've never cleared it.
No, all you've done is verbally repeated the pattern over and over again.
And my job is to, as the practitioner, is to break that pattern quickly. So when we work with Whitney or anyone else, we want to break that within 60 seconds.
Okay.
And now these emotions, number one, are tied to another emotion over here. We have to get to the root cause of that because what really caused that maybe was resentment or something of anger. Anger and resentment carried over can really cause your immune system to collapse. So your homework between these blood tests is you have to go into not accepting the old patterns, changing them in a simple way that's usable. If it's not fun, nobody's going to do it. So that's number one. Number two, if it's not easy and effective, they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
So we have temporal tapping. We have things that we do for the body to clear emotions. It's not just body talk. It's not emotional code. It's not BEST or bioenergetic synchronization technique. It's a combination of all of those things.
Yeah.
I like all those techniques, but they're always lacking something and something else needs to get it. So we stick all of those things together in one package that clears it, not only in 60 seconds, but until you bring it back up, it's not going to come back. And then, of course, we clear the subconscious emotional memories that need to be eliminated altogether. So those things have to be done at different times of the day and night. What's the best time to do this? Emotional clearing at nighttime when you're sleeping? Yeah. You're going to do it while you're sleeping. You're wearing the pendant.
Got it.
You're also going to be working on the subconscious. You're going to, how are you going to do that? I'm asleep. No, we're programming the body-mind connection with the source for it to do it and release it on its own between 3 and 5 in the morning. So it's not just the pendant. You even said to me, it's like I'm working this out while I'm sleeping.
Yes. Every dream that I've had for the past 3 weeks, I would say maybe since I started wearing the pendant, every dream, it's people from my life show up and it's like we're working out the issue. Things are coming up from college, things are coming up from my 20s, from my 30s, from most recently in my life. And it's like I'm spending an entire day with that person. And it's almost like they're communicating why I felt a certain way with them, that I just need to accept that it is what it was and just to let it go and move on. So, and then it's a new, it's almost like every evening I'm wrapping up old stories and patterns with different individuals.
It's not only within this life, it's past life. And for those people who don't feel comfortable actually communicating with the person that may have triggered these things, you're doing it in a safe space within your mind at nighttime in your subconscious where you can actually talk to the person and clear them out.
Well, in most cases, it's like I can't call up a sorority sister from college and say, hey, by the way,
it's not going to work.
Your behavior was inappropriate and I'm calling you out now. It's taken me 25 years. That's not going to happen.
No.
So I have to find a way to let go of how I let them treat me and how I allow myself to be treated and just move on with my life knowing I'm never going to allow that behavior in my life again. And I think some of that is doing emotional work with a practitioner, but then it does seem like there's something that you have to work out with your subconscious at night.
The subconscious is what's been carrying not only this lifetime, it's part of your DNA from previous lifetimes that all needs to be brought up and released. You can't release it until you acknowledge it and then say, okay, I don't want that anymore. I'm going to eliminate that. So the actual triggering mechanism for it to be released is some of the things we do at the office, but it's also some of the things that you've done to allow yourself to let go of these things that no longer serve you.
Yeah.
So now you're doing it dietarily during the day. You're also doing it with any nutritional protocol that needs to help you with better digestion or better cleansing of toxins. And we're doing it through emotional clearing, both consciously and subconsciously. Now, what happens is when we did this at the beginning, is we started doing things and you were fighting. You did not want to let go of this. And when you finally came to, she worked with me 4 days in a row when she was out in the Orlando area. And it finally clicked for her. I don't want this anymore. And when she did that consciously, the subconscious began to start to release and let go. And so between 3 and 5 in the morning, her subconscious was working, doing all the work now, saying, oh man, what's taking you so long? Let's clear this. I'm doing my homework during the day. I'm eating right, doing better for digestion. But now at nighttime, the subconscious is going, hey, finally, what took you so long? We don't need this, because her own mind, body connection with the spirit was trapped. It was stuck. And we began the process where the body will now just begin to keep rolling. And it's like a snowball. The little one turns to a bigger one, turns to a bigger one. And next thing you know, she's like just releasing it. And it's doing it on autopilot. Remember we were talking about doing it on autopilot? So you're now doing it on autopilot. Does she have to do anything? No. Just be open to allow it to occur and be willing to go through it, to recognize it, not to bring it back, but to really just let it go. What's happened to you recently?
I'm not crying as much.
Excellent. Now, your personality type, because of who you are, your human design, is such that you'll be very sensitive anyway. So you will go through jags of crying and things like that. But she's not doing it like she was.
Yeah. And really, this past year is the first time in my life where I've been an extreme crier. Like I've never been like this before. But to make sure that I understand how to address the lymphatic system right now, doing lymphatic massage, getting on the vibration plates, jumping up and down, dry brushing, infrared sauna, that's great, but that's only going to support 25% of improving the health of the lymphatic system.
Right.
The next is another 25% is improving the digestive system.
Right.
Another 25% is releasing trapped emotions. And then the other 25% is using frequency machines to create a frequency balance in my body.
Correct.
Is that essentially the protocol?
You got it right in a nutshell. And don't think that everybody gets the same frequencies.
Yeah.
Your body, I love to use 528.
Yeah.
528 is a Solfeggio number that's used to love, miracles, healing, DNA, repair, all that stuff is really good. But if you need something else, 528 isn't going to be the one you need today. So 528 we were using with you. We were also using DNA and RNA repair.
My favorite.
And it works well with you.
Yeah.
We're doing epigenetics clearing. Genetics is what you're built with. It's you're part of what you are, your program. But epigenetics is how does the environment and emotions affect that? And how does it change it and alter it? For instance, if 5 people in the same family come in and they're genetically predisposed to certain illnesses, why is it you are getting better at not having those same reactions that your brother, your mom and dad, your other family members are having? Because you're doing the work to stop it. Epigenetically, you're altering that sequence of your DNA, RNA. And that's one of the ways to do it. Now, you have to be conscious of it, willing to change it. And all you have to do is say, I'm not going to accept the old patterns of me, and I'm going to make that happen. Now, is it that simple? It can be, but most of the time, as Whitney already knows, her biggest challenge is with her
mind.
Exactly. And it's with all of us.
Yeah.
And she's caught me. I mean, she calls me out. I mean, that's why she's a true family friend.
He calls me out too, and I appreciate it. It's almost like you call me out like you're my uncle, or you're my brother. You and Nick are like the only 2 people that really call me out. So I appreciate it.
Well, and we do too. Part of my being who I am is I appreciate, we won't call it bluntness, but her directness of what she does to help us. And at the same time, we have to be gentle enough yet direct so it doesn't cause more hurt.
Yeah. And
those are the types of the issues that we work with. Anger, rage, resentment, fears, worries, doubts, sadness, hurt, or grief. Those are the most common. Now, as you know, from doing the verbal frequencies as well as the others, there's many more frequencies. There's 15,
Endless.
keeps going. And then there's derivative of that. So we always want to go back to what is the actual root cause? Is it from this reality or somewhere else? Is it more? And now my perspective is 95% of all the clearing comes through the spiritual perspective.
Yeah.
Now, folks out there, this is not about God and a religion. This is about the spirituality of who we are and what makes us who we are, physically, mentally, emotionally. So, gotta know, has nothing to do whether you're Jewish, you're Christian, you're Buddhist, you're Hindu, you're Muslim. That's a man-made concept. That's not how it is in reality. We are actually constantly connected to the divine. Interference is occurring to block your filters so that you can't hear the divine, the higher self. And now this is bringing this to your attention. It's showing up in the physical on a piece of paper in a blood test. What's going to happen? What are we looking for? Change. This gives us the baseline.
Exactly what we're all resistant to. We all want change because we want to live a more fulfilled life, but we're resistant to the changes that need to be made in order to get there. It's a weird game.
But it's also based in one thing.
What?
Fear. It always comes down to fear. False evidence appears real. You've heard that over and over again. 99.9% of all human beings have some level of fear in their body constantly. And it's this fear that opens up the doors to the negative energy. We won't call it anything other than negative energy that will put you in a loop that will not let you go. And you'll be a little rabbit or a mouse that's constantly running on the same tacky patterns over and over. And we can break those things 60 seconds. And you've seen it. You've also seen the power of doing this multiple days in a row.
For me, the only way I can break patterns is by doing something like this multiple days in a row. An appointment once a week or once a month to start off doesn't create the impactful change that I need.
And by the time you hit the fourth one, actually it was the third one,
I started to light up.
Her eyes literally lit up and she said, man, I have energy now. I have energy reserves, and you're going to need energy reserves to finally let it go. She recognized the issues and finally no longer accepted them, and it began a snowballing effect in the positive way.
Yeah.
And it made such a profound difference that when you left us for the next couple of weeks, you were
fine.
And you were under a lot of stress after you left.
Yes. It was pretty incredible. After I left Orlando, I flew back to California, spent the next day cooking all day for a client, and then spent the next day prepping for a dinner for 90 people, and then spent the next day cooking a dinner on a farm for 90 people. So I went nonstop, and usually I couldn't walk off the plane and hit the ground running anymore at that speed. I had to hit the ground running and go, go, go. For 2 weeks straight, I had no days off, and I was fine because we had released so many trapped emotions, and I had gotten so juiced up by doing the frequency machines that I was able to go at that high speed. It was incredible. It made me feel like my old self.
Now, you also she has a frequency machine she works with, both remotely and in person. She has verbal frequencies that she states and repeats. And of course, she happens to use the practice that I do, Einstein, which is like prayer meditation stuck together.
Yes.
Everybody has to choose what works best for them, because you're going to get one series of things. The next person, that's not going to be the same thing. But we have certain generalities where we're going to overlap. And that spiritual, physical connection is what makes the profound differences. And you're really going at it. You know the difference. I happen to have flown out this time to see clients here in Orange County, California versus Orange County, Florida.
That is wild that we're in the same county in two different states. I always forget that.
Probably the people who designed it came from the same place, but
yeah.
And we also grew oranges in both locations.
Yeah, and we also have a Disneyland in both locations.
Isn't that funny how that works? The biggest thing is, this is not a game. This is really an important part of who you are. Well, to be who you are, you need to find out what doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
Then proceed by finding out what does work for you and then implementing it. Does it mean that it needs to be done forever? No. Sometimes I'll give her a verbal frequency. It's only good for a week.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll be 6 months. You may not see Ricky for another 6 months.
Yeah.
But she's got an entire protocol of what to do over the next few months. And she'll contact me. We'll have a session online. And if this isn't working, or is this a problem? Is this some other thing going on? Or is this uncovered something else?
Mm-hmm.
One thing about parasites, once you kill the top tier parasites, toxins come out and you got to get rid of them. Sometimes it's overloaded. Once you kill the top tier parasites, you got to get to the bottom tier of parasites. And so now it's going to have to change or modify, because what worked for the first 2 weeks or a month now has to be changed a bit so we can get to the next tier. Now, will it always be changing? Yes. This is the one thing about being a human. It's never stasis this way all the time. It's like a roller coaster. You go up and you go down, and there's good days and there's bad days. And yes, we have other terms and other languages that we use for those, but you have to know that that's actually your real pattern as a human being.
Yeah.
Ups and downs. If you can raise the lower part of it, then you can get that roller coaster so it's not as high and not as low, and it's the closest thing you can to that beautiful pattern that's homeostasis.
That's a great way to put it. Well, I wanted to let people know as well that in the live blood cell analysis, you also get a list of the acupuncture points that your body is craving. You get a list of the pesticides that are in your body. You also get a list of the food that your body is currently allergic to.
Keyword is
currently allergic to. So you get a lot of information from it that you can immediately apply, because even with the pesticides that are listed that are currently in your body, you can use ChatGPT to identify what foods those pesticides are connected to. If it's a fruit, if it's a vegetable, if it's a particular protein that is in a food or being fed to the animal, so you can change where you're sourcing your ingredients from. So again, you can bring your body back into balance. So there's a lot of useful information in this report that you can apply in a variety of ways. It's kind of endless. I would love to know, since you've done this for yourself and for so many clients, what does it look like when someone's gone back after 6 months to get the test again, and they have taken some of your advice and applied it?
I used my spiritual sister, Dr. Miller, who you've met, as an example. She had some really negative protocols and toxicities, challenges, and I'll call them diagnosis and prognosis. And in this fact that she willingly changed what she was doing, eliminated the things that didn't serve her. In 6 months, when she came back, she had a, quote, clean bill of health. It was a different Victoria than when Ricky started working with her. And thank goodness he comes to our office. So we get to work with him firsthand. And then I'll use this. I'll take the patterns that are in here and I'll use them on the spooky machine. And then that's the remote telemetry device. There are other devices, but it's cheap and it's easy, it's effective. And we use the DNA samples. So I'll input all of the things that are required to replace the issues that were there. It's not dealing with diagnosis. It's not dealing with treatment. It's dealing with simply adding the appropriate frequency that your body needs at this time. That's all it is. And that's the difference in what was necessary. So that'll go in. It'll then help her DNA samples that she gives me through the nails. And we'll then be treating her, quote, but it's not really treating her. It's just assisting her in replacing, repairing, or renewing the missing frequency. So treatment's out and frequencies required that are missing. It's like little gaps. And they're just filling the holes.
It's like putting the puzzle piece together. I have to say, over a lifetime of trying to get to the root cause of my health issues or how I'm physically feeling, doing blood tests over and over again, this is the first time I felt confident with the results that I received in being able to implement change so I will feel better. And I truly believe that if I just keep following even the simple protocols that I've been given, which is taking certain new supplements, wearing the pendant at night, and continuing to, as available, use frequency machines or have sessions with you to remove trapped emotions, while on top of removing the foods that no longer serve me at the time, eating what I consider to be healthy and working out, that everything's going to get better.
Yes. And the biggest thing that you brought up, well, let's say, oh, doc, I'm on an organic diet and I only eat raw vegetables, or all those things are good. But know that things can be shared. Chemicals are in the air. We
Yeah.
know that. Everything can be, you can come in contact with something by driving by a farm. Or
Yeah.
the fact that here's the organic vegetables on this side of the market, and here is the non-organic vegetables. Well, they're just right next to each other usually. And even though the organic department's getting bigger, the farm across the street was using pesticides. And even though it says organic, it may be carrying some of the residual toxicity with it. Same thing, you go, but I've already eaten raw cream or raw dairy, and I never had a problem. But right now, your body's saying it's right now a temporary issue that's blocking you. What does it come from? Could be a number of things, but the number one trigger is usually emotional issues that take something and lower your immune system. So you're here at that homeostasis point, and boom, it drops. And then all of this old stuff will come up because it's actually been waiting to be released. So that's the difference between, is this something new or is it just something old that's clearing?
Clear it.
And don't think this is not a quick fix.
No, it's not.
But working with Whitney on a regular basis, or any of the people that I work with, you have to understand this is the process that you're going to go up and down. But now look at my hand, up and down and up and down. And eventually even your down places are higher than where you were up on the other side. So if you saw a chart, it would go up like this.
Yeah, absolutely. The way we want our bank accounts to look.
Exactly.
Yeah, same chart.
But here's another bank account. This is an energy bank account.
Yeah.
And that, in order to have the money with that other energy, otherwise your energy bank account will be going up and your money bank account's going to go down because they haven't been balanced.
Yeah, they all have to be filled.
Right. And that's the process of life itself.
Yeah, it is.
And so you don't have to call it a specific thing.
Yeah.
And terminology that we used to know doesn't have to be stuck. It's not religion versus spirituality. It is what makes up you, what works for your body type. And there's a lot of books out there about that. But you have to fine tune it. It's not what's just in the book.
Yeah.
You are the book. So you're writing your book and rewriting that book every day of your life. How do you choose to live your life? It's going to be really key. She's now choosing to live her life not in the past. It's in the present, not in the future. It's
In
the present.
Totally.
It's be here now, present.
Yeah.
And as a result, she can be here now because we've cleared out the toxicity, the emotions, and the emotional toxicity. People don't realize when you have a negative emotion, it dumps negative emotional chemicals in your body, which are actually 100 times more toxic than the pesticides.
I know.
And if your immune system is clean, the pesticides will come in and through the system quickly. If your immune system gets blocked up because there was an emotional issue, there's other ways to clear it. My favorite number when I talk to you and other people, especially with couples, because you were always talking about that, is there is an actual verbal frequency to change an emotional reaction which didn't go well. And I'm not referring to just pairs as in spouses, significant others. I'm talking about work relationships.
Yeah.
You can be great. You come to work and your work partner and the person next to you.
Yeah, if you have to share a cubicle or a desk with someone, you start to absorb their stuff.
And if they're negative,
yeah,
just like the plants are going to pick up the chemicals in the negative DNA, same thing. You're going to pick up that negative energy pattern. And just going out in the world, being on the internet, you can pick up negative things.
Yeah.
We talked about we don't watch the news.
Yeah.
But if we do something energetically to change any negative things that we do. And we do our Einstein to change that. We're changing our reality every minute of the day. And as a result, It's work. So if you want to take responsibility, you're the perfect person. If you don't want to take responsibility,
Yeah.
it's not, we're going to do it to you so you can get better. No, you're part of the solution. So you
Yeah.
got to do your work there.
Yeah.
And so that goes back to, what do you do when you have these blood tests? Number one, don't panic.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. You can't stress at all about what the results are. You just have to just understand that someone just gave you the puzzle. Well, it's like you were finally handed all the puzzle pieces,
Right.
and now you just need to put them together. It's like the tools are in front of you, but
Right.
you have to apply it.
And now you're using the test results as the baseline, not as a diagnosis.
Yes.
And some of the MDs I work with say, don't accept your diagnosis. It's only a made up thing that's dealing with not the spiritual, not the physical. It's not even dealing with the emotional. It's dealing with a biochemical analysis of what they see and then targeting it. Don't get caught in it. Don't call yourself that diagnosis. Don't say, I accept that diagnosis. No,
Yeah.
you want to get rid of it. Let it go. It's just a measuring tool.
It's just making you aware of the different places in your body that's currently irritated.
Right.
And so you can make the changes to bring it back into balance.
The spiritual, the physical, the emotional, and in this case, food. Food is my medicine. I've learned that from the Gerson Institute.
Yeah.
And now, but if you think you're doing good and
Yeah.
it's still not happening, what's wrong with the food you're eating? Even if it's organic
Yeah.
or it's raw, what needs to be changed? And this is a perfect tool for coming in with people who have been diagnosed or prognosed with a certain malady.
Yeah, if you really want to find out the foods that you're currently allergic to, I find that the cheaper Everly or blood tests that you're going to get out there that's going to work with your insurance, it's not going to give you the true and honest feedback. I've done many, many, many tests over the past 20 years to try to find the foods that don't work with my body, and none of those have given me any information that I needed. This gave me very solid, accurate information because I could telling me that all organic raw dairy from a cow isn't working for me right now is accurate because I was having a reaction every time I ate the best quality raw organic dairy that I could get access to. I was immediately having swelling in my throat and neck, and this confirmed that. It told me I can't eat any wheat at all. I was having an experience that anytime I had the slightest bit of wheat, I'd be sick and I'd have to lay down for the rest of the day. It just confirmed everything that I sensed. And it's great to know that now I can safely choose to opt out of that stuff for the next 6 months, improve everything in my life, and test it down the road to see if it makes me feel good or it doesn't.
The other thing is, it may even work faster than 6 months. Most of the time, within 3 to 4 weeks, you can test, is there a reaction to that? And it doesn't mean if you don't react to it, you just go start eating it. No.
Yeah.
I love sheep's and goat cheese.
Yeah.
My particular genetic makeup doesn't do anything well with cow. Cow just doesn't work with me. My digestive system is such, it's based on a 10,000-year-old family member that ate camel's milk, all right? Not cow's milk. And so I did better with sheep and goat.
Yeah.
Now, sheep and goat are more closely aligned, especially goat, with the human DNA. But even that, an organic raw dairy that I was getting was saying it was too much for me at this time. My body just couldn't break it down.
Absolutely, me too.
So I went off for 3 or 4 weeks, maybe a month, and sometimes 6 months, depending how severe. And in my particular case, it was triggered by the emotions surrounding breaking teeth, and I had to go to the dentist. Well, what did the dentist give you in order to fix your teeth? They give you an injection of lidocaine, novocaine, those things. And that created a triggering mechanism. My body immune system just went plump.
Got it.
And it affected my pineal gland, which is how I connect to the source, and it caused certain body parts to malfunction, the liver, the intestinal tract. Now, you don't panic, right? I've come through it before. I've gone up, I've gone down. Simply do the protocol. whatever the protocol is you need that day or that week or that month, and you keep going. It will clear, it will heal, it will come back. Humans are in a natural healing pattern if you just let that healing pattern come back to equilibrium. And it doesn't have to depend on drugs or this or that. Sometimes not even the vitamins will react with you, and you'll see that. Just because you like that one vitamin company, your body, and it'll tell you, no, that one isn't working for you. We had a lot of people using this artificial, so to speak, yogurt that's not made with milk.
Yes, yes.
And it's made with coconut.
Yes.
And this one particular brand uses locust bean. Well, locust bean doesn't react well with 90% of the people, and it'll create an allergic reaction. Locust bean really isn't the best bean to do it. The other thing is pea protein. Some people,
absolutely not.
pea protein sometimes works really well. Like if I eat the peas, like when you made special.
Yeah, when I served you fresh peas, this is like a basic principle of the Weston A. Price Foundation. When you serve someone the food in its whole and natural form, you can digest it. If we all eat fresh peas in season, most likely we're all going to be okay. But if you take the fresh pea, you genetically modify it, you force it to grow in a greenhouse out of season, you dry it, grind it, put it in a bag, let it sit on a shelf for, 12 months. Now, when you eat it that way, your body's going to digest it and assimilate it in a whole new way. And that is something that causes people massive digestive distress. They're thinking they're getting protein, but instead they're getting a gut bomb.
And that's exactly what's happened. It doesn't match with your normal flora and fauna.
Yeah.
It'll knock it off. Your candida will go up and everything just goes out of whack. Now, the main triggering mechanism in many cases is something emotion. You had some boo-boo that are happening. Where do these emotions stay? They go to different body parts depending on you. And when do they most commonly happen? Retrograde Mercury, a void of course, because we worked with Alice.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about those things. Those types of things will be triggering mechanisms. Are they going through a Saturn cycle? That's an astrological term. Well, what do you do about it? Well, there's actually a verbal frequency. If you know you're coming into those things, you'll say the number, it'll lessen the severity to the reaction to the body. The other part, and this is the spiritual part, you must remain calm. And Whitney's actually seen when I blow a gasket, and I've seen when she has. The thing is, you must remain calm because that going out of calm may not show up for 3 weeks to 3 months later when you least expect it. You think, oh, I'm back on. It knocks you down. And when you open the door because you're not emotionally calm, these take a hold and then it goes deeper and deeper and deeper because you're in a rut. Literally, you go in the wrong direction. So we want to bring you back into the positive. We're all human. We all make mistakes. Forgive yourself and other people. Key words.
Yeah.
What is the hardest part of forgiveness that you deal with? Is it someone else or is it you? And this is something she's thinking about.
Because I think it depends on every person and situation. I think there are things that I got to forgive myself for allowing myself to be in that situation or interacting with that person or, just taking how they were treating me in order to be polite and appropriate. But I also think sometimes it takes you time to forgive them because you just don't understand how they could treat you that way. And it's that, and maybe it's only certain personalities that do that, but your mind tries to work out why they even treated you that way to begin with. You're trying to make sense of it, and you can spend days, weeks, months, years just trying to process why did that even happen.
But if you can clear that emotional reaction, verbal frequencies, the forgiveness method that we use, you can stop that old method. And then you can replenish it with missing frequencies. She was missing the restore spent emotional energy following an argument. That one alone for couples is fantastic. It helps bring you back to your equilibrium. And that meant that your body can go back to acting and reacting in the normal fashion it needs without all these other things. But what if you're driving to work Or you're driving home and suddenly someone stops short in front of you and you put your brakes on and you got to veer and you nearly get hit, or sometimes people do.
Yeah.
That'll knock you right down really quickly.
It does. It shakes your energy to your core, and then you carry that for a while.
But now we have methods to restore the adrenaline reaction, stop the hormonal responses in the gut, and now you don't have a leaky gut anymore and you're not reacting
So
to
you're
it.
saying when you have a situation like that, like a car accident, that's when you need to turn to the verbal frequencies, the balancing by numbers. You need to work with it. Choose a frequency to say once, twice, 3 times a day to clear that fear, that adrenaline rush, that experience, and that ideally you go and get on a frequency to calm and balance your emotions and your cortisol levels, or you do some sort of session with a practitioner to clear the trapped emotions.
And add to that, whether it's prayer, meditation, Einstein, whatever it is, to keep you calm at all times. And like I said, I'm a human being. I've gotten much better as my energy levels go up. My reactive responses are far less than they used to be. But even when I'm tired, I'm traveling from side of the country to the other side of the country, just being up in an airplane with a lot of people and filled with electromagnetic frequencies that are not very good for my body or my brain. You have to know everything you come in contact with, everything you see, everything you experience is going to create a reaction. How you react will be determined by the food you eat, the emotions you take in, just like food, or the emotions you're clearing, the ability to get rid of things that don't serve you, and to be able to move on. So you have to be charged up so that it doesn't drag you down. Or if it does drag you down, you're up so high, it's not going to drop you below the threshold, which could trigger an emotional response. You felt it coming back home. You were with me for 4 days. You came home for 2 weeks. You dealt with it. You took all that stress. Thank goodness I came back
with ease. And now I have to rebuild because I'm definitely depleted at the moment. But what I'm noticing is because I'm depleted right now, I have to avoid going onto Instagram and TikTok and any social media because the visuals are too overwhelming and overstimulating for my brain. And then it's triggering emotions and lack, and it's not supporting the direction I want to go with my physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental health.
Right. And you asked what kind of therapeutic approach. Number 1, don't get on social media. Number 2, stay away from watching television or even movies that are violent or will drain your energy.
Forget that. I can't even watch any movies that are about relationships. I can't watch any movies. So everything triggers an emotion that is not a positive emotion for me. So I have to avoid that.
So she has to stay away from Hallmark Channel.
I would never watch that anyways. No offense.
But just so you know, you have to figure out what works for you and what doesn't. That's why there is no cookie cutter way of doing this. That's why you spend a session that's 90 minutes long with me, because we want to get to the root cause, and the root cause may not be what you think that's right up there. It actually may be something deeper underneath. It may not even be from this lifetime. Maybe you were healing so good that something popped up, you had enough energy, and in your case, it dealt with 3 different lifetimes. And as a result, she's aware of it, and she stopped reacting to it. That's the biggest difference. I feel like I'm
80-20.
Hey, you're not perfect yet, but you're perfect.
Thank you. Thank you.
And the biggest thing is you want to live a long, healthy, happy life. To do it with as much less strife or suffering, and to do it more where you're just like, I have to work at this. I have to work at it. And as your body gets physically older, people have said, well, how do you keep doing all this and traveling?
I know.
My energy level has to be peak and high all the time. I have to sleep better or intensely better. And I make sure that I use my pen in at nighttime. I make sure I don't go to bed with a negative attitude or thought. I make sure that even if there's an astronomical or astrological event, I'm addressing those issues. And if I'm tired, It also means I have to pay attention to the food I eat.
Mm-hmm.
Not only the emotions you take in, the food I eat, so it doesn't knock it down a notch. Now that means I'm not eating the food I get in the airport.
Oh yeah, never in a billion years. I always pack my own meals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we're talking about things on seed oils. Are they good for you or not? I mean, we'll go into those in great depth and detail, but you have to have a pattern to work with. And this you found as one of those keys.
Yeah, this was a great tool for me. For me, this blood test was exactly the tool book, like, because you get a whole tool book. You get probably 50 papers altogether. It was everything I was feeling, thinking. When you looked at it, you were like, oh yeah, this is everything that's going on with you. And I shared it with the other practitioner I've worked with many years, Shamananda. Shamananda looked at it. She's like, oh my gosh, this is everything that I needed to understand your body, to help you heal. So it was really interesting that it just put on paper everything I was feeling and sensing, everything that was coming up in sessions with you, everything that was coming up with sessions with her, just physical confirmation. It's a beautiful thing.
And when you have three people agreeing on the same thing, how many times you got to be hitting the head to change?
Well, I think the beautiful thing is if you're someone that's ever dealt with a autoimmune or chronic disease, and you've told your doctor or your therapist or someone in your life, I am feeling or experiencing this, and people don't believe you, this is an actual test you can get, and it's going to come out on paper, and it will probably prove exactly what your natural instincts have said. And so I think this is a story that I always love to bring up because I think everyone's been there at some time. Like, I know my mom, my dad, my brother, my friends can all tell me a story about when they sensed something with their body or when something physical was on their body and they went to doctors to try to heal. They were told, no, that doesn't exist. You're crazy. That's not what's happening. And ultimately, they were able to heal by not listening to them.
Exactly.
But if you're trying to get to a root cause, this is a great way to get to a root cause, and it will cost you, because I'm sure you're listening to this and you're like, how much will this cost you? This would cost you less than $500. And so there are tools and protocols out there that can help you that won't cost you. So that's why I really wanted to do this episode. I want to always do episodes where I have an experience and it really supports me. So you can consider adding this to your tool belt if it resonates for you, or you can at least continue to learn about it and decide if this is something that you want to explore. So, as always in the show notes, I'm going to have the contact information for Dr. Scott Robinson. And then there's always the contact information for me. If this is something that you would like to explore, you can always reach out to Dr. Scott Robinson and get on the list for the next time Ricky's going to be at his Orlando office. And we can coordinate with Ricky to see when he's coming to any locations in California. And then there'll be the information to connect with Dr. Scott Robinson if you wanted to do a one-on-one session with him in person or remotely.
Thank you. That's the best plug I've had today.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, at the end of the day, everyone needs to figure out if something resonates for them. And they either need to take the information and store it in a place for a time and place when they need it, or they need to take action immediately. Or, if this isn't for you, but there's someone in your life that this could support, share this episode with them so they can learn more about it. And again, see if it resonates for them and it's something that they should take action on.
And the biggest part, you're adding different things on a constant basis on the show and in your life. And because you're testing them like I do, everything is, you're testing and saying, well, that works, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
All right. But you too have to do it. You don't have the same body type as Whitney would or me. So you do have to prove it to yourself.
Yeah.
And in this proving it to yourself, if it works, stick to it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, don't spend and waste the money doing it.
No, I'm excited. I can't wait for, it's about 5 months from now to go and get this test again and see the changes that my body has made. Like, I'm really looking forward to it. But I would say more than anything, it's not just the outside and the inside of my body, I'm most looking forward to changing mentally.
And that's everything between both
Yeah.
ears. And she came to that point. I'm not going to accept this anymore. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't find a wonderful doctor and stick with them, especially doctors that do functional medicine or acupuncture or anything that works for you. Keep it. And know that not all MDs are the same. So test out your MDs.
Yeah.
And there's some really good MDs out there that I work with and some that will be working with me in the future. There are people with caring and loving hearts. And my philosophy is come from being kind rather than right. So you want to find a doctor that's open to alternative, complementary, integrative, and even spiritual medicine. There are doctors out there.
Because they will work with all sides of you. I think Louise Hay is a great example because she was so ahead of her time. You know, in the 80s and early 90s, she would go and get plastic surgery. She writes about how when she went to go get a facelift, she told the doctors, I need you to play this tape of positive affirmations. I need this music playing in the room because this is going to affect my subconscious and my physical body from healing. You know, you talk about that if you're going to have surgery, you need to pray over the anesthesia before your surgery or have somebody in your life pray over it for you. That these little things that we do affect our outcomes. And there's doctors from all different medical practices that are open to it. You just have to be willing to ask. I think if we all ask, we'll find that we're all more open to having conversations and accepting people with where they are if we're willing to talk about it.
All you have to do is, like Whitney said, be open. Know that if you believe there are doctors out there to help support you and become part of your healing team, you will find them.
Yeah.
We'll teach you those techniques so that you can believe. You have to have faith in the being that created us. You have to have trust in your own inner wisdom, your higher self, whatever you call that.
Yeah.
And then you have to live life according to your mission and purpose in life.
Yeah.
When you're living life on purpose, that also means letting go of anything that doesn't serve you anymore. And then you're talking to somebody who's excellent at it.
Gosh, that is like my life mission.
But the fact is, she's becoming a key to help other people do the same thing. And I always felt from the moment I met her, she was family. Well, genetically, she is family, but we didn't realize we may be like 5 or 6 generations. But the fact is, my mother's family and her father's family came from the same town and community, a little shtetl, which is now in Lithuania, Latvia.
Vilnius. It's like the second largest town in what was Poland. So it's like saying our family's from San Francisco in California.
Right. And you have a big family. But what's the likelihood that they...
I know, it's odd that both of our families are from Vilnius.
Right. And as a result, use that to your advantage. The creator, whatever you want to call the creator, the source energy, will have faith in that, whatever it is, whatever you call it, and trust in the fact that you're being divinely guided in the right direction. Don't fight with it. Well, how do you know? If you're resisting, you're having a lower immune system and some illness issue. If you're not resisting, you're happy and you're healthy.
Yeah.
And you're working well with your own body. Remember, this body is a tool. Yeah. It's the best tool you can get.
Yeah.
Women, by the way, 6 times more likely to be aware of their bodies because of how their bodies function than men. But that doesn't mean that men can't wake up either. More men are beginning to wake up and realizing, hey, my body isn't happy. Listen to it. Not here. Well, you will sometimes. Listen to it here. Come from the heart and not the head, so you can be divinely connected instead. And whatever you call that. And it starts with something like this. Is it the only one? No, she's going to test a lot of stuff. Some are going to come from me and things that I've come in. She's going to find stuff that she's going to send to me and say, hey, Dr. Scott, go investigate this. This is really cool. I just heard of a new doctor here locally by you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go investigate that doctor.
Yeah.
Are we on the same page? Don't know yet. We'll find out.
I know, but it sounds like it. I'm excited to learn more.
And this is what you must do. You have to take responsibility for yourself. Don't expect someone else to take responsibility. Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to follow a pattern that may not work for you. Find that doctor that you can work with in a team approach and work with them. Whether it's physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual, it doesn't matter. Find the one that works for you, because there is no cookie cutter example. 1/3 my clients will get great results from no matter what I do. 1/3 of my clients will get terrible results no matter what I do with them.
Yeah.
And 1/3 will have mixed results. How do you increase the probability that they will get better responses? Well, that is one of these tools called live blood analysis. Find out where it can be done for you. There are several I know in San Diego and Orange County and LA. It doesn't matter if you're in Florida or Washington State or whatever. Find the person that can do this and help you out. Is it the only test we use? No, it's just the test we're talking about today. So if you have any questions, contact Whitney at her website or contact mine.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect way to end it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I look forward to having these conversations again on our next episode. Cheers.